Welcome everybody in. It's the virtual Talladega Superspeedway here in Alabama for the Dega Pro Little Guys Series Championship race. I'm your host here tonight on behalf of PGR eSports, Michael Triscaro, and in the booth with me tonight, Cody Neagles and Tyler Vickery. How you guys doing here tonight?
And especially too, we have a track temp of 130 degrees, and I mean, just like how we've seen in the real life with Xfinity and Cup Series at Daytona, track position is going to be key. You don't want to be in the back because we saw some of the wild wrecks we had from both Xfinity and Cup. We had multiple cars flipping. I mean, we had that huge wreck with Josh Berry in the Cup going upside down and hitting the inside wall upside down. So track position is going to be absolute key in this race.
That sure it is, and unfortunately missed Cody's intro there, but all the audio back on and working, and the grid is filling up. It's going to be David Flanagan, the pole sitter here tonight, and outside row there will be Landon Velicki. In the second row, it'll be Aubrey Thompson of BAR, and Ethan Eckert of PGR eSports will start in fourth. And rounding out your top five here tonight will be Richard Elliott.
In sixth, we have Chris Walker. In seventh will be McCullough Motorsports' Mark Vondell. Eighth is Jared Haynes with OSM. Chase Mastretta is in ninth, and Adam Young rounds out your top 10.
Yep, and then we got Danny Barnes going to be starting 11th, Bobby Ford's in 12th, Jonathan Herbert in 13th, Evan Carlbon, the last driver to make it in on points, starting in 14th, and then Trevor Ozernoff starting in 15th.
Yeah, starting in 16th here tonight will be Joshua McCullough of McCullough Motorsports. Starting in 17th position would be Heath Job, Hyper Motorsports. Starting in 18th will be Brock Westmoreland. Starting in 19th, Tucker McClendon. And rounding out your 20 driver field here tonight will be Joey Galati. And we'll pull up your race information really quick. And there you'll see it. It is going to be a hot racetrack here tonight. It's looking like 131 degree track temp right now, 72 degree ambient temp, 1 mile an hour wind, so that won't be a factor too much here tonight. We are going to go 100 laps here in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series. So that information was updated earlier for some reason, not showing the right information right now. It'll be 100% fuel, a no faster pair race here tonight, guys. So we'll see how racy these guys want to get early and often here tonight. But 100 laps is going to be a long race.
And I do want to make one note. I might be wrong on this, but I do not believe Josh McCullough is making the start. So I have to wonder, does anyone have information if he's the race control for this race?
I think from what I've heard earlier is that John Ward and Joshua McCullough are helping out with race control. I remember hearing earlier in the session that Joshua McCullough is, I believe, helping out with admin duties in this race.
Well, I'll tell you what, on your screen right now is the flyer for tonight's race. There's 20 drivers in this field, and we had a season long of 5 different races. Logan York was the winner of week number 1, Jared Haynes, winner of week number 2, Trevin Ashworth, winner week number 3, Dylan Basin, winner in week number 4, and Chase Mastretta booked his spot here in this championship race in week number 5. So it'll be a 20 driver field here tonight. You see all their names here on the left side of your screen. And the payouts, $500 to first place here tonight, as the pace car is going to dive onto pit lane. And we are going to go green here at Talladega Superspeedway for the first time tonight. We will let everyone hear these engines come to song for lap number 1 tonight, as the green flag is out here at Talladega Superspeedway for the Dega Pro Little Guys Series Championship. Lap number 1 of 100 in the books here tonight. Landon Velicky is going to be the leader of that lap from One Stop Motorsports. On the outside here, that is going to be Adam Young. So 2 by 2 here early in the going. Lap number 2 right now, pushing right there in the 23 machine here on the bottom. That's going to be Chris Walker. He's going to push Velicky clear here to the middle lane. And right now, action already picking up a little bit farther back.
And I do want to make note, right at the start of that race, Ethan Eckert looked like he fouled to the back of the pack, as did Richard Elliott and Aubrey Thompson from BAR. So far you're seeing some varying strategies, and it just seems like everyone is content with settling in, hopefully with 100% fuel, so we can see a green flag pit stop. But I do know we are quite a ways away from that. But again, so far, everyone seems pretty content and just riding and logging laps right now.
And with a lot of that strategy, too, you got to look at it this way. 100 laps. In seasons past, a lot of these guys have realized in season past championship races and seasons previously, we have gone green the entire way. So pit strategy is going to be key, and especially full fuel load. That means these tires are going to be really starting to wear out. Yes, tires aren't going to be real big of a factor, but when you have full fuel, you're going to have to take tires into play, as well as deciding when you want to take them, as well as like positioning. You want to also have the positioning and not fall off this pack, because if you fall off this pack and if these guys are going to run single file like they are right now, it's going to be a long night.
It's for sure going to be a long night. You mentioned a 100-lap race here and no faster pairs, so no sense in pushing the envelope here early. It's going to be, quite a long race, and we could see a very long green flag run, and who knows, maybe this could go green wire to wire here tonight. If we do get to a green flag stop, that'll definitely string out this field just a little bit, and with being a smaller field, we'll definitely have some different packs here eventually if we can get to that green flag stop. As you see Adam Young get pushed to the front here, he's going to take the lead here early at Talladega.
And it looks like Jared Haynes is going to be yet another driver that was content in backing out of that initial lead. We'll call it 6, give or take. He's backing out, and he's going, he's still mid-pack, but he's going to be with that string of cars right now that is single file just a little bit further back. And again, it's just going to be interesting because with 100% fuel in races like this, I am typically a more aggressive driver, but when it comes to this kind of racing where there's only 20 drivers, the first thing you have to be thinking is, can you save fuel if you ride, say you're back 10th, 15th, just save fuel, get behind somebody, have max fuel saving. By the time you get to that final pit stop, if the race does go green, you might be able to take potentially 3.5, 4 gallons less than everybody if you have saved enough. So again, it's going to be very interesting because there is going to be a price to pay if you want to lead in this pack.
I can tell you this from last year and the year before, when we had a huge PGR lineup in the Little Guy series, we had to try to stay in the back as much as we can. If it was like right now, they're 2 by 2, about 2-3 rows deep. That out middle lane starting to finally going to claw its way together, but like then our strategy was trying to stay in the back, be safe, but we don't want to get ourselves in too much trouble. Ooh, as we had one car there, I don't know who it was, but that was a close call there. It's just trying to not to be too far in line, like where Tucker McClendon is right now. You don't want to be too far back there if you're trying to save fuel, because if you let the group get too far out and too spread out, single file, it's going to be a lot of controversy. Oh my goodness, Landon Velicky, I think, almost got turned there.
Yeah, just showing all the onboard cameras here tonight. You're going to see Richard Elliott there in the 000 Ford, and you will also see Jared Haynes carrying an onboard camera, as well as Trevin Astronaut. So we'll definitely be able to feature some of these guys here tonight. Hopefully in this 100-lap race, get a couple interviews as well. Hopefully if we could get a caution or two. If not, we'll have to bring a driver maybe up here during a long green flag run and pick their brain on what their strategy is going to be. But right now, so far so good. 7 laps in of 100. And right now your leader still is going to be Christopher Walker.
So again, I'm going to go back to the fuel strategy because we've got 20 drivers, let's be honest with each other. there's gonna be some lulls as a broadcasting team where we're gonna be looking for storylines. And again, the one that I'm looking at, you have teams like OSM, BAR, Hyper Motorsports, just to name a few. If they get, like, there might even be small alliances between the teams where we think, all right, we're going to run the first fuel tank out. We're going to save on the first 2 times that we pit. We're going to save max fuel save. Then potentially, if you've played your cards right, on your last pit stop, the third run after your second stop, potentially you might be able to take enough fuel to where you can make it. But like, again, you've taken several gallons less than everyone else does. To me, that is screaming, hey, you could have a 5 or 6 car breakaway. If the guys that are playing the long game, if they play their cards right, I am looking at a potential breakaway if this goes green.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's all about Kias. We're 3 wide up to the front. And that's the whole thing. It's like you want to be aggressive, and then at the same time you want to have enough fuel, because if you can run a little bit longer and have this single file group like we're seeing with Hyper right now, we've got Hyper up, all 3 Hyper cars up in the top lane just pushing. Like, if they can be really smart, I mean, look how much of a run they're getting right now on that high line. They could easily make a huge run on a pit stop, and they're gone. I mean, 3-4 cars, especially with this hot track temp we got, that'll make a huge difference in the long run. And especially if some of these drivers decide to not take tires, because sometimes I did that myself in one race and it worked out. I mean, the strategy game is going to be key.
Yeah, right now business is picked up here early, lap 10 of 100. Heath Job now making it 3 wide here. He is going to try to get to the lead on that high side. Only 2 cars here in the middle. It looks like Aubrey Thompson and Richard Elliott. So, wow, Aubrey Thompson makes a move right to the bottom. That's going to push someone underneath the apron here. Heath Job getting a strong push here right now by, I believe that's Jonathan Herbert. So he's going to file in line on the bottom as well. So single file now here on the bottom. They thought better of the 3 wide action. And I'll tell you what, that guy in that 4 train right there, he might be one of the favorites here to win this race. He was pushing 3 wide all in last night's McCullough Motorsports race. I'll tell you what, he's not afraid to go 3 wide, but right now, Brock Westmoreland sitting pretty here, 3rd in row here on the bottom.
And I'm going to highlight, as we had been talking about the different teams, Hyper Motorsports right now looks like a team. We talk about playing the long game, but it doesn't really look like Hyper Motorsports. And when I say Hyper Motorsports, if you're watching in the chat, Heath Job, Jonathan Herbert, Bobby Forbes, they've been working together. They were working the 3rd lane. They don't really look like a team right now that's going to be too content, because see, right now they're lined up 1, 2, 3 in that middle line. Again, doesn't really look like they're going to be too content trying to ride in the back and save fuel. So keep an eye on Hyper Motorsports right now. If this stays green, are they going to burn themselves by having to take more fuel than the rest of the pack? Look further back right now. I'm seeing Mark Vondel, Tucker McClendon, Ethan Eckert, Chase Mastretta, Jared Haynes, just to name a few. David Flanagan. Those guys are thinking long term. You're saving your car. You're saving fuel. It doesn't pay $500 to win the race on lap 10, lap 30, or lap 50. You have to make it the entire distance of the race. Being up front might be the flashy thing to do, but the big payday at the end of the race might come, and it very well could, from the drivers right now that are sitting content in the back of the pack, saving fuel.
I can agree with that. And then one other person I think we could definitely keep an eye on, David Flanagan. He is the season points champion, getting 110 points, which, I mean, he was consistent top 5 every single race, was in some really close battles and a few others. I mean, the next person in line in second was Richard Elliott with 88, and then you had Jared Haynes, Aubrey Thompson, the other 2 drivers that all had 80 or more points. I mean, David Flanagan knows his way around this track, in this car and this track for the Little Guy Series. He's going to be the one to watch out for. I mean, you can see right there, he's hanging in the back. He's trying to decide what he wants to do and just saving tires. He's not really being aggressive. I mean, giving a little gap here and there, but I mean, look at that little run. Look how long this inside lane is. Everyone's just being very patient and safe. Even Ethan Eckert, look at the huge gap he's got on the inside line right now.
Yeah, you mentioned Ethan Eckert of Team PGR, one of the newest members of the Team PGR. And if you look at the past champions in the series, myself included here in the season number 1, but the last 2 also PGR eSports drivers in JR Miller and Mike Davenport. So 3 out of the 5 champions all reside on Team PGR. And tonight, Brock Westmoreland and Ethan Eckert trying to make that 4 of 6 if they can. Joshua McCullough and Justin Mills were your other 2 champions of the series. So we'll see if Ethan Eckert and or Brock Westmoreland can carry the torch here for PGR.
All right. So with that being said, gentlemen, let's lock in our picks. If you're watching in YouTube right now, I'd like for you guys to follow along. Ooh,
we got good? Someone going sideways there. That was Joey Galati.
That's Joey Galati. Let's go back and take a look here.
Big save, though, too.
Wow.
Huge save.
He did make a good save, but we're going to stay green. He does not keep the pack, though, but what a save. Fortunately for Joey Galati, if this race stays green, the pack can come back around and catch you. You can still sit there and ride in the pack once they go back around and catch you, and you're in position for a lucky dog. Very, very tough break, though. Going back to this, though. Picks. If you're in chat, please submit your pick in the chat. Who do you think's going to win this race? And I'm going to stop right there. We have a panel, me, Tyler, and Mike, the broadcasters. Who do you guys think, and I'm going to start with you, Tyler, who is your pick to win the race?
Hilariously enough, I know Michael here is going to pick fun with me for not going with one of my PGR guys. I'm going to have to go with someone that was helping me out a little bit in the SummerSlam before he had his unfortunate crash in the LCQ. I think it's Trevor Ozernoff's time. I think it's time for him to get that win and get a huge win that he's been looking for a while with the Jack Shack guys. He's been dying for a win. I mean, he had that huge win coming to the line 3 wide. I think the time's come. I think he's going to get that win.
Well, you put me on the spot here. I did not really think of who I believe was going to win this race, and I truly do think it is a wild card race here tonight. But if it goes green, and right now it looks to be that way, and we do get to some green flag stops, it's going to favor the drivers that can get on and off pit road the fastest. And if it starts getting spread out, and the longer we go in this race without a caution, it's going to favor some drivers like Brock Westmoreland, maybe a Chase Mastretta, possibly even an Ethan Eckert or Richard Elliott. But I'm going to have to go, I'm going to say, as much as I mentioned all those guys, I'm going to throw this name out there, and it's going to be Aubrey Thompson. That's going to be my pick to win this race and win this championship tonight. So we'll see if Aubrey Thompson can park that car here in Victory Lane.
All right, circle back to me. I'm going to give you guys 2 names. One is going to be an honorable mention, and one is the pick that I'm locking in. I'm going to show slight bit of favoritism on this one, and I'm going to name him as my honorable mention, only because he has been running with me a little bit, and he's learned the pit strategy part of it. My honorable mention will be Chase Mastretta, because he has proven that he can get on and off pit road, which, if this race does stay green, I think it's going to come down to one of the guys that is best on and off pit road, which is where the race will be won. But that is not my main pick. The pick that I have to win this race is a guy that I believe right now, he's up there with Trevor. There's a few guys that have really proven, in amongst the big dogs in the main races, they have proven to cash time and time again. The pick that I have that's going to win this race is the 62 of Landon Velicky.
Well, it's a great pick there from Cody Neagle's Landon Velicky, man. That's why I'm saying it's a...
Boy, we got one sideways. I believe that is Aubrey Thompson. Huge save.
What a save. That is twice now. Joey Galati, Aubrey Thompson. Twice where a caution could have come out. Those guys right now seriously are up on the wheel. But let's go back to the hot track temp. Like, you guys are seeing it now with tire wear. It is just going to get worse, too.
Oh, absolutely. And the way these guys are pushing, you do not want to touch that apron, too. That apron is going to be really, really sketchy in the long run as these tires wear out. I mean, you see Trevor Ozernoff all by himself right now in that middle lane. He also has to watch his steering input. Put too much steering input in on the middle or high line, it'll instantly oversteer in the rear, and you will lose control very quickly. So steering inputs is going to be very critical as these tires start wearing out.
Well, my race pick is going to need a comeback here tonight as he is off pace along with Joey Galati. So both Galati and Aubrey Thompson are going to be looking for an early caution, but right now we have none. As we get to lap number 20 of 100, we have a special guest up here in the booth. It's your week 1 winner in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series season number 6, Logan York. You got a copy.
Hey, what's going on, Mikey?
Hey, man. Well, we just wanted to get you up here. Saw you hanging out watching the race here tonight. Wish you were in this one. You'd probably have not only been the favorite, but a couple of our picks to win here tonight. But you've watched 20 laps of this 100-lap race. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, it's kind of. I heard Tyler earlier talk about how all the championship races in the earlier seasons have gone relatively clean, and it's just. I think that trend is going to continue this race. I see it again. It looks like everyone's getting ready for pit stops. I'm not 100% sure what the pit. I think it's if it's 100% fuel, then they're just riding in line, getting ready for the pit stop. But I mean, these guys know it's the last race. This is probably the most important race for all these guys because they spent their entire season trying to get to this race. So to ruin it on lap 22 would be insane. So yeah, these guys are all gonna remain clean probably until like the last 20 laps. I see no need to race until after the first pit stop at least.
Well, while we have you, we're looking forward to a Logan York comeback. And when can we all expect you to be back here on track and iRacing?
Can't spoil it. It needs to be a surprise, Mikey.
Well, I guess it'll be a surprise for us all, but it was nice for you to join us up here for a brief moment. That is week number 1 winner here in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series season number 6. That's Logan York. So we'll move him on down, carry on here in the race as Chris Walker now on point here at Talladega, getting a nice push here by Heath Job and Trevin Astronaut right now being scored in 3rd. Bobby Forbes 4th and Brock Westmoreland right now your top 5 as we are single file now all the way through here in this main pack as Joey Galati and Aubrey Thompson right now, I believe Aubrey Thompson actually onto pit lane.
And I do want to point out that the 4th Hyper Motorsports entry in this race, Danny Barnes, interestingly enough, he's not been running the same strategy as his 3 Hyper teammates. I do want to make a note though, we'll call it the 3rd entry. It was one of the 3 drivers that was up front. Jonathan Herbert, he also got loose, and he lost the lead draft while you guys were interviewing Logan. He is no longer in the lead pack. Tires are becoming a serious issue. Right now, it's looking like a race that is going to be won if you can just maintain the pack. You don't even need to race. I would predict that probably half of this pack, or close to it, is going to lose the draft between now and the end of the race only because their tires got hot on a hot track and boom, you're getting loose in the corner or you hit an apron. We've already seen 3 guys lose the draft. I think we're going to see a lot more if this race goes green. That just I don't even want to say randomly. They're going to get loose because the cars are kicking out. The back ends are kicking out. Tires are hot. So it's going to be interesting. I personally, if you run a tank out and it's me, I'm going 4 tires every single time I pit.
Yeah, and the other thing is too, how many sets of tires do we get? That's going to be massive as well. I'm looking it up right now. 4 sets of tires. So you have 4 total sets of the race. That means you have 3 extra sets, which, if I recall from last year, 3 extra sets of tires is going to be enough for to literally do 4 tire stop for each stop if you wanted to. So I mean, especially with this track temp, tires are going to be key. And those stops are going to be key. And you don't want to overshoot a pit box. You don't want to speed as well, because if you speed on coming into pit lane, that's going to instantly kill every single momentum you had. And you're going to be a whole lap behind. I mean, you saw what happened already to Herbert and Joey Galati touching that apron. I mean, the tires are going to be already hot, slick. Heath Job touches the apron there in the tri-oval. I mean, tires are going to be big, and pit stops are going to be absolutely key, especially with how these guys are running, and they're running very conservatively as well.
Conservatively is that, and up here, up front, Chris Walker, you know what? he is leading this race, so probably not able to save as much fuel as some of these guys behind him. So it'll be curious to see if Chris Walker has to come in a lap or two before a lot of these guys hanging mid-pack on back. That could be a story as we get deeper and deeper into this run and this race. So right now, everything's single file, no cautions here tonight. We are a quarter of the way through the championship race here in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series, season number 6. We're going to crown our 6th champion who will graduate this series tonight, and we'll have to see. You mentioned Trevin Ashburnoff of the Jack Shack JSR, and I'll tell you what, Trevin Ashburnoff, if there's a guy that is going to get it done, it's going to be him. He had one of the wildest wins you will ever see in money racing in week number 3. I was able to call that race, and my, oh my, what a finish that was. I believe it was almost 5 or 6 wide, and Trev got the victory, and we'll see if he can get that Jack Shack Toyota back to victory lane when it matters most here tonight.
And I definitely think that you hit the nail on the head with Chris Walker and the story of he's been leading most of this run. So if he has to pit a lap or two before the leaders, do the other JSR drivers decide to pit with him? Because if he goes in and pits alone, he's not going to keep the lead pack, I wouldn't think. So they're going to have to make a plan either to pit with him, and, you know, if it's a concrete 2-stop, then that's not a big deal. But if it's a scenario where he has to pit alone, it's not only going to hurt him, it's going to hurt JSR. But, again, Trevor Oswornoff, in my opinion, easily, well, I don't know if I want to say that, with 2 wins in PGR, because he's one of the very few guys actually in this field that has a PGR win. I know Ethan Eckert does, but Oswornoff, out of everyone in the field, easily the most deserving, in my opinion, of being graduated up to being a big dog. And I've even joked to him about that. He is a driver that absolutely can hang with the big dogs, and in my opinion, should drop the title. So let's see if he can do it here in this race.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and I would not be surprised with strategy-wise, too, seeing that Chris Walker's sitting up front, running the Jack Shack JSR guys. I would not be surprised if all of them come in and pit. I wouldn't be surprised either if we see Hyper, other than maybe Danny Barnes. If I was like in Danny Barnes' shoes, I would try to be like the sneaky guy. I would be the last one to pit, but that would be only if there are other people that stay out. I mean, you're in the back, you're the second to last in this lead pack, so you're going to be saving more fuel than everyone else. You might as well just hang back, see who all pits. You can relay it back to your Hyper Motorsport teammates, let them know what's going on, and try to see if maybe you can pull away something where they can try to strategize for future. As we see, I believe we might be seeing a switch here, as there goes Flanagan up on the high groove.
Well, we were talking about Hyper Motorsports, and while we have a second, let's bring in the man now leading the race. It's Heath Job. Heath Job, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do, Michael.
All right, we don't want to keep you long. We know green flag stops are looming here. How much fuel do you have in that machine, and how long can you go from here?
I got about 12 laps.
Well, right now, you know, Hyper Motorsports has some numbers here in this race. You're out there leading here at Talladega, and, you know, what's it going to take, you think, here tonight? If this thing, you know, it could go green wire to wire, what's it going to take to get the job done?
Perfect pit stop. That's where it's going to be. All day, every day. If you don't make it in the pits or make it out of the pits perfectly, you're going to be done tonight.
Well, you heard it there from your current leader, Heath Job. Heath will let you get back in here with your teammates. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, man.
That was Heath Job, your current leader here for Hyper Motorsports. He's had a lot of bad luck, not only in this series but others, but that'd be a great win for not only Hyper but Heath Job if he can get the job done tonight.
Well, absolutely, and he's definitely one of the smarter racers that's in this field. Very seasoned driver, experienced with races like this, and he definitely knows how to put it in victory lane. I think it was a very smart move, too, for Chris Walker to realize, hey, I don't want to be leading the entire run because that's going to put me at a severe disadvantage. So he backs out of it, gives the lead over to Heath Job, and it looks like the JSR guys did formulate that and get that because the third guy in line, Trevor Oswornoff, let Chris Walker in. So I think they realized there was quite a bit of a discrepancy in what Osmanoff had for fuel and what Walker had for fuel, and they're going to try to get that evened out, which is what you're seeing now. And I'm interested, I don't know the exact numbers or have my fuel calculator on, but one of the plays that could potentially be coming to fruition, will the drivers be able to run it out both of their stops? But with the, I say run it out, with their last stop, can they take only one can? I don't know the exact numbers, but if they can get it down to only taking one can on that final stop, boy, oh boy, would that be a huge advantage.
Yeah, and right now it'd be huge, especially the timing. As we got, I'm noticing Brock's having some really bad internet connection right now. It just hit him real hard like 2 laps ago. He's kind of opening up a gap a little bit here because of it. He's still solid. It's kind of reminded me of my situation from SummerSlam 499 not too long ago.
Well, I'm going back in the pack here a little bit deeper. Running in the 9th position here in the top 10 is Evan Carlbon from Berkeley Township, New Jersey. You see him there in the 71 machine. And tell you what, he's a very good super speedway racer, very sneaky. He came out on the scene in the PGR eSports SummerSlam recruitment races, was actually able to win a couple of those. I believe those had about 60 drivers in them and had a kind of a heat format. And, man, Evan came on top, I believe, twice in those. So definitely a guy that could get it done here tonight as he rides behind the 62 of Landon Velicky. We'll see if Evan can drive up to the front here at some point tonight. But right now, as we get to lap 33 of 100, I would think, about 7, 8, 9 laps here till green flag stops. So that's what's going to separate this field, and we'll see how many drivers are left here in the main pack when we do get that pit stop.
And I want to give a quick shout out to everybody that is in chat right now. We have 37 people watching this race live, so very, very good number. If you haven't already done so, please give a like to the stream. Subscribe to PGR eSports. Get in the know on everything that is happening with PGR eSport right now. You have the championship race as we speak for the Little Guy series. You have RMR on Tuesday nights. You've got the flagship PGR on Thursday nights. You've got MMS racing. We have money racing 7 nights of the week, and many of them are home right here on the PGR eSport Network. Want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. John Ward, Devin Ray, Sean Corbett, Kenny Reel, Jack Hignight, Scott Roney, Christian Martinez, Not Rivers, Lisa Winter, Carl Haynes, Michael Clay, and I believe that is it. Lisa Winter is asking what happened to Aubrey Thompson. He had an issue earlier in the race. I didn't think he took damage, but he may have, because he is parked in the pits right now, and he is out of this race 13 laps down.
Yeah, and that was a rough one, too, because it was just car got stepped down on him as he touched the apron and got really loose and everything. As this pack's starting to condense a little bit as we're getting closer to pit stop time. I think we still got probably another 5 or so laps. And, man, I'm keeping an eye on the quality bar right now for Brock Westmoreland. I mean, it's all over the place right now. Right now, it's quality bars for internet connections down to 68. It's flickering on him. It seems like it's trying to hold a steady connection, but man, I think a lot of these drivers are getting a little worried right now.
And I'm sure they are. Green flag stops looming, and right now you have a new leader. There he is, Team PGR's Ethan Eckert in the 12 machine. He's shown he could win. He's burst onto the scene, and I call him Young Money, reminiscent of Kyle Larson in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. You know, he rubs some people the wrong way, but you can't doubt his talent as the 12 of Ethan Eckert getting a strong push here from another favorite here tonight in that 3 machine of Chase Mistretis. So these guys coming up to the front, close that delta really quick, and they're going to want to pit from the front. And that's probably what they're thinking as they get close right now, side by side with Heath Job and Chris Walker. So Tucker McClendon also, he's going to follow those guys right up here to the front as they all want to pit close to the front as possible as green flag stops here in just a few laps.
And man, do I like that strategy to just ride around in the back. log laps, save fuel. Then when you know you're getting within 5 laps of the fuel window, what do? You go straight to the front. I like it because you're closing the delta on the leaders, if not being the leader. So when you enter pit road, you have a chance to break the guys that are in the back of the pack. You know, you can save all the fuel you want, but if you're pitting from the back, it doesn't take a whole lot for you to potentially get involved in a pile up in front of you. Or if you spin your tires on exit, boom, you're not in the lead pack anymore. So I am definitely looking forward to seeing how the guys in the back of the pack, are they going to want to get up a little bit further to the front, or how far from the leader are they going to feel comfortable entering pit road? Because I have a feeling several of them are not going to be in the lead pack here in just a few laps.
Yeah, and then you add in two pit boxes. How early and how late are some of these pit boxes going to be? You look at Heath Job, Tucker McClendon, they're going to be one of the first in their pit box as well. So they have to time their break points a lot earlier than a lot of these other drivers. I mean, Ethan Eckert's going to have a really late pit box. We're also going to have Chris Walker. Adam Young's going to probably have another one. I mean, also got to look at David Flanagan. He's sitting in 15th. If I was David Flanagan, I know you're trying to save some fuel, but you also got to look at this. You need to start trying to make a little bit of run to where you could have an easy in and out pit box, because otherwise you're going to be in a hornet's nest trying to get in and out of your pit box as well when you get tires and fuel.
Yeah, and I think any time you lose coming in here on this first green flag stop can eventually maybe, you could lose the back tail end of this pack. And if we do go green and we go green the rest of the way, your championship hopes are going to be dire. So, these drivers in the back of their mind right now have to be thinking, hey, what if this race does go green? It's not your typical race with 30, 35 drivers in it like a normal week here in the Dega Pro Little Guys series. So you have to think this first pit stop, I mean, all of them are going to be critical, but this first one is really going to see if we can separate some of these guys here in this main pack, and you definitely want to be pitting close to the front as you possibly can. And right now, Chase Mistretta is the Pied Piper here at Talladega, and that 3 machine looks great leading out front of Ethan Eckert.
Yeah, and again, he's a guy that I've ran with quite a bit here recently because he's trying to get, I feel like he's been wanting to try out for a spot on Nightmare. And, I told him he's a friend of mine, and we used to run officials. This was back several months ago. We would run open officials. Oh, here we go. I am going to hold that thought here real quick because we do have green flag pit stops that are starting. The lead 2 cars, however, Ethan Eckert and Chase Mistretta, they did elect to stay out 1 lap further. I do like that call.
Yeah, and I'm going to be watching these pit times too, seeing who could have possibly sped. I mean, Heath Job locked it up. Looked like, I believe that was, trying to see which car it was. I couldn't see. It was an orange car. It might have been Trevor Ozernoff who was locking up the brakes as well. But so far, so good for some drivers. I'm going to keep an eye on if we have any black flags, any speeding penalties.
Yeah, Trev was coming in hot to pit road. Looks like he was able to get down to speed. Brock Westmoreland still having some connection issues, but Trevin got on pit road and off the fastest. He's going to lead them off here, and we're going to go back up front and see if we can see what's happening with the rest of this pack. As Landon Velicki, he's going to stay out. He's going to be leading here, actually, Evan Carlbon and Richard Elliott, as Ethan Eckert now dives on the pit lane, as does Chase Mistretta. Adam Young, Tucker McClendon, it looks like Jonathan Herbert. So the second group comes in, 5 cars, but we still have some cars out there on the track.
Sorry here, Mike. I'm just taking a look and seeing what these guys are doing for tires. Are they going to take 2 or take 4? I do believe you've got enough time to take 4 tires here. So I'm going to let this pit stop go ahead and play out here real quick. But as I was going back to the point that I had just a minute ago, Chase has been looking for a shot on one of the bigger teams. He's been wanting to run with Nightmare. He has been running with us, but I told him, hey, you're not going to be given that label as a Nightmare driver because you have to earn that. If you're going to be on a team like that, you have to earn your keep. I don't need people coming to me saying, why is he on the team? Earn it. Chase, I'm just going to let you know right now, you have a very good chance to potentially earn that spot if you do win the race tonight. You're in a very good spot to do it. You've been in the lead pack the entire race, but this is a night that you need to go up, get to the front of the pack, and show what you have. So far, so good for the 8 car.
Yeah, and he and Ethan Eckert are giving a huge push right now. Timing this right. They just got to get enough momentum to where they can hang on to Brock Westmoreland's draft as Trevor Ozernoff, Chris Walker, and only one hyper motorcar and Bobby Forbes are able to just outpace everyone on the pit stops. We still have a little bigger group behind, but now they got to keep all lined up as Ethan Eckert and Chase and I believe that was Chase Mistretta trying to hang on to this pack as everyone else is all discombobulated further back.
Well, we're going to take you on the drone cam here. Here's Trevin Astronaut, Chris Walker, the 5, I believe, of Bobby Forbes, Brock Westmoreland. They're going to be your race leaders as this other group is going to blend into the track. And Trevin Astronaut to the point here at Talladega Superspeedway. These 4 cars are on a breakaway right now. And, man, what a fast stop that was. Here comes Ethan Eckert, though. Ethan Eckert and Chase Mistretta, they're locked on as well. That's going to be at least 6 cars here in this main pack. And here comes a slew of other cars. We'll have to get a count, but I'll tell you right now, if you look at it, there's a couple guys here coming. That looks like Keith Job. He's locked in, and this other group behind. And it looks like we're not going to lose too many cars here on the first stop of the night.
Then that's what I was looking at, because it looked like initially that there was going to be kind of 3 packs, but hats off to the drivers. I am not sure just off the initial look. I don't think any driver that was in that lead pack entering in the green flag pit stops lost the draft. Very good job so far by all of the drivers in the race.
Yeah, very good indeed. And I'm looking at pit times, just amazing what some of these pit times. Cruz was even better. I mean, Bobby Ford's 14.5 for his pit crew, one of the quickest out of everyone. Everyone else was right at the 15-second mark. So hats off to Bobby Forbes' pit crew being able to knock out a huge pit stop for him, and it's brought him up to 3rd place right now in the front of the pack.
Yeah, we're looking at the backpack right here, and yeah, it looks like everybody has made it here on the first green flag stop. It's only Joey Galati, Aubrey Thompson now. With issues, Aubrey Thompson, well out of the championship here tonight. He'll probably most likely finish in the 19th position, but Joey Galati's still hanging on, looking for a caution or 2 to fly here tonight. But Jonathan Herbert, he's going to be last here in this main pack, and I'll tell you what, I mean, these guys did a great job of getting on and off pit road. Obviously, you saw some guys get off and on faster, but for the most part, you had 3 different groups pit at 3 different times there, and here they are all linked up on the track as we get close to the halfway point here tonight.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on that here real quick. I've been in the money racing community for roughly a year and a half now, and I know some of the older drivers have been around for even longer, quite a bit longer than that actually. But just in my somewhat brief time here, I've seen almost an evolution where team racing was at the forefront and back, I'm going to say about a year ago, where teams were pretty large in numbers. 4 or 5, it seemed like every team had their set 4 or 5, if not more, on the team. And when you would go into pit, your whole team would pit together, you'd get in and out, and if you had all of your team guys with you, you could break away from the pack. And now, it seems like the talent level has definitely, it's been raised in a lot of ways. A lot of new drivers, a lot of fresh blood out on the money racing community, and these guys all are showing speed. Like I said, a year ago, you could get a 5-6 car breakaway easily every single race, and you'd win it out of pit road. Now, you go to do that, and you're just not getting that small breakaway that you used to have, and I think it's made these races more individualized, where you don't necessarily need a team to win the race. You just need to be in the right place at the right time and have track position. If you're at the front of the pack, it's relatively easy to stay up there. The only issue you're going to have as a solo driver is if you lose the track position, then it doesn't become so easy to gain it back. But again, a year ago was a little bit more team-centric, not so much right now.
Yeah, and being that person from a year ago, almost a year and a half, about a year ago, where I started out as an independent, and being an independent, having to be a solo, it is much tougher because you have to figure out, all right, what are these teams going to do? When are they going to pit? Who do you think is going to be the bigger group to follow? I mean, you can look at a few seasons ago where in the truck race, I was all by myself. I had to wait. I was able to save fuel long enough and just hang with the drivers I felt more confident who could be able to last the longest. And that ended up being the PGR guys, JR Miller, Nash Brambilla, Brock Westmoreland. And that's like the key thing as a solo driver you have to do is figure out who the top teams are, figure out their strategies on the fly, to make a crucial decision on whether or not you're going to follow them or try to at least improvise in a way to where you can capitalize and try to make a gain for yourself as an independent.
Absolutely. Well, Heath Joe back up to on the point here right now. We had a word with him earlier, and he's fighting for that top spot. 3 wide right now with Mark Vondel. So Mark Vondel in the 59 machine. He's going to be up here in the 3rd lane. No help for him as all these cars are going to separate just a little bit. Heath Job is going to bail back down here to the bottom lane behind the 4 of Brock Westmoreland. And right now it's still all Trevin Ashburnoff up front as Chris Walker here in the 2nd position. Ethan Eckert, he had a great pit stop earlier here tonight. Made all that delta up before that stop as he's running here now in the top 5 as well. So nice to see him up here. And strategy might be a little bit different now as we are all single file. And a lot of these guys probably starting, like I said earlier, to think that it's very, very possible we could see a wire-to-wire green flag race tonight as we get to lap 49. We are almost halfway through. No caution flags here tonight on the PGR eSports Network. And we want to thank John Ward of Dega Pros for having PGR eSports broadcast this amazing series here in season number 6. I was fortunate enough to be the first champion in this series, and I'll never forget winning that title on that specific night. And I'll tell you what, it was a little different format back then as well, as it, you know, it allowed any other driver to come in that race, so it wasn't just the guys that were running for the championship race. And I remember it being a really, really stacked field where I believe Ryan Baste was pretty much on my bumper, my rear bumper, the whole last part of that race, and I was sweating hanging on there for that win. But awesome to get the job done, and we'll see if the Team PGR can, like I said, get the championship for the 4th time in 6 seasons here tonight.
All right, so while we have a little bit of downtime, because it seems like the field's pretty content for the most part of running single file, do me a favor, Mike, if you would, please. Pull Mark Vondel up here. I think, right, since we're in the middle of this run, I'd like to be able to pick his brain, as we do have 3 rows of 2 wide, but everyone else is singled out. Let's see, do we have him in here?
We do. Mark Vondel, we're going to bring you up. Cody Neagle's going to have a word with you here in the middle part of this race.
All right,
Mark,
buddy.
how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Cody, how you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm having fun watching you guys out there. Man, you're one of the fan favorites, McCullough Motorsports driver of the number 59 car. I would love to see you get in victory lane, man. You had a very good finish in the Little Dog, Big Dog series just last night. What is it going to take to get that 59 car in victory lane here tonight?
Well, really not sure. It's going to be gas mileage for one thing, trying to save, but I tried to get Heath up there to the front, so I burn a little more than I wanted to. But I got some guys here I'm working with, so I don't have any of my teammates around, so they offered to help.
Well, I do think you guys have the right strategy at play here with just trying to save as much fuel as you can to make that last stop as short as possible. Not going to keep you too long. Again, I know we need to get you back down there with your team. But before we let you go, is there any final thoughts or anything that you'd like to say?
I just want to thank John for this series. It's a lot of fun. All these guys are great guys. I mean, you know our community, and I don't think there's any better anywhere around.
Well, I think I couldn't have said it better myself, man. Go get back down there with your team. Good luck, and put the 59 car in victory lane. I am sure if you do that, you are going to have a lot of happy people out there in YouTube chat.
Oh, Rick,
Good luck.
Rick.
We have Rick.
Oh, we got a big Rick. That is Bobby Forbes spinning around. I think everyone avoided him.
Cool.
I believe it was Bobby Forbes. Bobby Forbes was spun. Let's go ahead and take a look at that here. It was just a single car spin, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to go back here to that replay, Tyrell. You'll see it on your screen here. Bobby Forbes here pushing Heath Job and put it in super slow motion here and see if we can get, see exactly what happened here with the 5 of Bobby Forbes.
And it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, and like how I was saying earlier, steering input. Bobby got a little loose on that middle line. He started to turn a little early. Rear end kicks out from underneath, and Brock Westmoreland, having nowhere to go, hits him in the left rear a little bit, and it sends Bobby all around. Great avoidance by everyone. I mean, even with Brock Westmoreland only having some like slight contact damage, just great avoiding action by everyone, and everyone staying clean too.
Yeah, it looks like Ethan Eckert as well got into that. Just the coordinating effect there. We'll get on the cockpit here of that 12 Ford of Ethan Eckert and go in real time here to see how quickly, that came in front of him. You see Brock Westmoreland here in front of him on the right. You'll see that 5 of Bobby Forbes, and this is how fast it happens here at Talladega Superspeedway.
It comes very quick, especially when something like that happens, when the car gets very loose on you, especially with how hot this track temp is. And like we said earlier, 130-degree track temp. These tires are going to be scorching hot even in that middle lane, and as this track keeps wearing in, as the rubber keeps building up, the track is going to continue to get slicker and slicker and slicker.
It truly is. There are all these cars going to be now here on pit road, taking Sunoco race fuel and fresh Goodyear rubbers as Trevor Astronaut. Actually, looks like Chris Walker going to beat him off pit road here.
And that is exactly the caution that Jonathan Herbert wanted to see, because that did set him up to be the lucky dog. And fortunately, other than just getting a little bit loose there on, Bobby Forbes' part, no harm, no foul. It doesn't seem like it hurt anyone too awful bad. I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of these drivers taking 4 tires and opting to have as much grip as possible, considering how hot and how slick the track is appearing to be right now.
Yeah, and with how slick it is, I mean, it's going to be these guys are going to have to be really safe with how they play. And now for Joey Galati, he's going to be the only one a lap down. So now we've got that caution. What's going to happen now for Galati? Because Galati's got to try to get at least his lap back. So you know how the saying goes: cautions breed cautions. We're already halfway through the race. How much more is the aggression going to start picking up now? Now that we're within 40 laps of the end of the race.
Yeah, and right now it's going to be a one-stop race if we do go green, so we'll have to keep that in mind. But that just, that changed everything there. These guys all able to come down now to pit lane. They're under the yellow flag condition and are able to top off with that Sunoco Racing fuel. I'm assuming a lot of guys also getting 4 fresh Goodyear tires here, and rightfully so with how slick the conditions are. We're going to pull up that weather for our viewers one more time. You see right there, it's a 72-degree ambient temp, but it's 132 degrees on that pavement here in Alabama, and that's what's causing some ill-handling race cars. And yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if we can go green the rest of the way, how that'll affect the rest of this race. But right now, the class of the field has been the guys up front in Chris Walker and Trevin Astronaut, so we'll have to see as well if they can keep that top spot. But knocking on the door right now is BAR's Richard Elliott and Heath Job of Hyper Motorsports. We haven't talked about him too much here tonight, but also Adam Young. You see him right there in the 22 machine. He has also been up here in the front, and that could be a wild card and almost a little Cinderella story here as a champion if he can get the job done here tonight in the Dega Pro Little Guy Series.
And it looks like, again, I don't have the exact fuel numbers, but it looks like they're going to need to take roughly about probably a half tank of fuel, which I think is going to equivalent to about 10 gallons. Most of these drivers should be able to keep it inside of 1 can, which might be actually why you've seen about half of the field top off there. You might be getting really close to that number between 1 can and 2 cans, which if you can get it inside of that 1 can, if you're able to save enough, it could make or break your race.
Yeah, and here's, for me, strategy is going to get real interesting, especially with that 1 can, with that potential of 1 or 2 cans. Do you want to take left side tires, or do you want to take no tires at all? You've seen how these cars react. You know that the tires are going to wear out. But do you want to take a huge risk, only pit for gas, and be able to get off quicker than other drivers? Or do you want to take a risk and having to wait for maybe that little second, 2 seconds extra for those left side tires to get on, and hope that you can at least outrun those guys that did not take tires?
Well, the pace lights are off that pace truck you see right there as it gets ready to dive down back on the pit road. That was your first caution here of the night. So this will be our second restart, the first restart not at the beginning of the race. And so Chris Walker is going to lead them down here to the Geico restart zone as we will go green for the second time here tonight as the green flag is waving, and we are back green here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Richard Elliott, man, that was a little bit of a scary moment for Richard. I am going to take a look here. When they went green, Richard Elliott was gone for a solid 10 seconds. He's below the apron right now, and boy, it's going to be close. I don't think he's going to keep that pack. He's blinking again. That is going to be problematic for the 000. Yes, he does not have the pack. Man, it is close. But I do think he is losing the pack.
I don't know, because right now Tucker McClendon's starting to check up a little bit as he jumps up to the middle lane, which is not the preferred lane that Richard Elliott is in. But this draft, though, you got to be about a second to second and a half. And look at the momentum Richard Elliott gets coming back to the field again.
Right now, we have some 3 wide action. We haven't had much of it here tonight, but here goes the 87 of Jonathan Herbert. He is 3 wide, getting a push from the 5 of Bobby Forbes. And right now, 3 wide, about 2, 3, 4 rows deep right now, and they're going to hang out. JSR's Trevor Astronaut. This Heath Job's going to jump to the top. Joey Galati now going to fill the spot. He's going to get to the 89 of Trevor Astronaut as Chris Walker on the bottom leads, but here goes Jonathan Herbert all the way to the lead. He's clear, but here goes Bobby Forbes. He's going to clear. No, he's going to get hooked. Hooked by Chris Walker. He was not clear, and he is now off the track. No caution flag, and this is really going to change the race as action is picking up here in the front. 3 wide still here as we enter the tri-oval.
Man, that is extremely, that is just a tough break for everyone involved. Hyper Motorsports goes from being 0 to 0 in just a matter of seconds. It looked like every single Hyper Motorsports driver was about to clear from the 3rd lane. All of a sudden, you have Bobby Forbes drop all the way down to the bottom. He is not clear. That completely changes the complexion of this race. Not only do you have him off the pace, there is 3 other cars off pace right now from that lead pack. This completely changes up everything.
Oh, without a doubt. And those 3 that are all by themselves now, David Flanagan, Tucker McClendon, Mark Vondel, those are the 3 that are all by them, that are like in a trio trying to catch up as much as they can. But I mean, Chris Walker in no man's land now.
Yeah, what a shakeup we had. The Hyper Motorsports team was working really hard there in the 3rd lane, and I believe Bobby Forbes just didn't see Chris Walker there on the bottom, and he was not clear, unfortunately. That's why Chris Walker unintentionally is going to hook Bobby Forbes there. I'm going to try to see where Chris Walker is. He is definitely off the pace as he is in the tri-oval right now as all these leaders now here in the turn number 1, approaching turn number 2. So, unfortunate for Chris there, man. I'll tell you what, he's ran a really solid race here tonight, and just an innocent bystander there leading the race on the bottom of the racetrack. And, oh, wow, tough break for him, but some crazy action here as we get close to lap number 60, and the no caution is definitely going to separate some stuff right now. As Aubrey Thompson just about out of this one here tonight. Bobby Forbes now on pit lane, fixing whatever damage he got from that. Joey Galati's trying to scratch and claw his way back. Chris Walker in no man's land, lost the draft. Jonathan Herbert now, he is on pit lane. So it's really going all the way to Mark Vondel in the 14th position. And, he's running with Tucker and David Flanagan. Those guys are 12th, 13th, and 14th. So you got to go all the way up here to Evan Carlbon. He is the last car in this main pack. He's in the 11th position. So right now it's an 11-car race if Flanagan, McClendon, and Vondel are not able to reach this front pack.
Yeah, but last time by, they were about 2.7 seconds off of that lead pack. Right now, last time by, 2.2 seconds. So I think they might be getting a little bit of draft now. It's going to be interesting to keep an eye on the gap between Evan Carlbahn in 11th and David Flanagan in 12th. Those three cars right now are doing a fantastic job of potentially getting themselves pulled back to the lead draft, and it definitely looks like they're getting a little bit of draft. They are slowly inching up to that lead pack.
Yeah, and the way Tucker McClendon is absolutely shoving David Flanagan right now. All three of them, they're right now looking at the speed traps. They are running 192, 193 compared to the lead pack running a 192. So these guys are pacing about a mile per hour, 2, maybe even 3 miles per hour quicker than these guys, and they are closing in fast as they've already caught Evan Carlbahn's draft, and they are a half a second away from being in the field and being back in this race.
They sure are, and we have a second here. Chase Mistretta, we're going to bring him up, see if he's got a copy. Chase, you got a copy, bud?
Yeah, sir, kind of busy.
You're busy. We're going to let you go in just a second. You're doing a great job of wheeling that thing. Give our viewers real quick just a shout about how hot this track is and how tough the handling is.
It's honestly not too bad. I don't know. I haven't had that bad of issues today.
Well, you're doing a great job trying to get that 3 to victory lane here tonight. We'll let you go, but a lot of pressure on you as Cody Neagle's up here in the booth watching you try to get to victory lane here tonight, so good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. We're taking it home.
You heard it right there. Chase Mistretta, when we grabbed him, he was all up on the wheels. You could see his hands moving in that 3 machine. As right now, Danny Barnes to the point here for Hyper Motorsports, a new leader in town. From Owasso, Oklahoma, it's Danny Barnes right now with Trevor Astronaut from the Jack Shack here on his outside door, getting a shove from Brock Westmoreland.
Man, and I love the intensity that Chase showed in that interview. Definitely sounded like somebody who's locked in and is going to bring home the race win and championship here tonight. And again, he's not just going for the championship. He's been trying to earn his way on Nightmare. So again, he wants to prove it. The pressure is on him. We're going to see if he cashes in. So far, so good, as he has looked very, very comfortable thus far in the race.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and especially within his voice, he is so focused. He's wanting to try to plan this out as much as he can. I mean, he's got Brock Westmoreland to the side. Everything is still single file. I mean, we still have the Jack Shack Trevor Ozernoff in front as well. So there's some guys that are very, very hungry, and I know Chase is one of them. Trevor's another one. I mean, I think those two guys are the hungriest out of this entire field.
Well, a story that's kind of coming to fruition right now is going to be, Joey Galati trying to get his lap back, and Jonathan Herbert, has the potential here if we pull up our track map of going a lap down. So, if he does that, it's going to be a battle here. But Joey Galati in the driver's seat right now because, he's in this main pack holding draft at top speed. So Joey Galati right now kind of wants to see this thing just go green for a little while longer and be that lucky dog if that caution does fly. So we'll have to see if that happens for him and if he could get back into this race here tonight. Doing a great job right there. You see him in the 661 behind Brock Westmoreland, and not getting too racy, not getting too crazy here, but just trying to log some laps, and we'll see what happens, if we do get another caution. But, Chris Walker as well in position to possibly go down a lap here in a little while. So we'll have to keep an eye on that story as laps keep ticking off here at Talladega. It looks like we have about 35 laps to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories that's playing out right before our eyes right now. One that I've been kind of keeping an eye on is how slow that Danny Barnes started the race. Remember, he was one of the guys that was in the back of the pack that was just sitting, letting these laps tick down, and so was Chase Mistretta. Those guys now, the intensity's starting to ramp up, and we've even been seeing some sparks of 3 wide. These guys, as again, Danny Barnes just took the lead, and he is clearing down to the bottom. I mean, what a race so far from Danny Barnes. You have Trevor Ozernoff, again, 2-time PGR winner. Will he cash in on a little guy's championship? one of the new kids on the block with Chase Mastretta. Is he going to win the championship? Or is it going to be a seasoned veteran like a Heath Job or a Richard Elliott? Or is it going to be a young gun, Landon Velicky? What about Ethan Edmond? There's so many storylines right now, and this race is already 2/3 of the way over. We're on lap 66. Man, you know, it's not quite go time yet, but we are zeroing in on it. We're getting closer and closer by the lap.
Yeah, and especially with as the laps are going by, the wick has definitely been turned up tenfold. These guys know what it means. I mean, $500 to win for this race. Everyone wants to win that, especially as a little guy and getting an opportunity to get promoted into a big dog. This is good, and like you said, this is going to be a huge storyline for some of these guys. There's a ton of underdogs as well in here that you never know what's gonna happen. And I mean, like you said, Cody, there's a whole bunch of storylines, and it's going to be awesome to see whose storyline comes to fruition.
Yeah, and here they go past Jonathan Herbert here in just a second. Galati doing a great job sticking here to the 4. That's the sweet spot for him right now as the 87 goes down a lap. And now we have a race within a race here for that lucky dog position between the 661 and that 87. So Jonathan Herbert's going to want to get up on that gas and see if he could go past the 661. And, you know, when you do that, you got to also risk, God, if the caution. Oh, Andrew, there he goes. Joey Galati into the 7. Into Brock Westmoreland. Looks like some net code. Heavy damage there for it. Oh, my God, for Herbert. Man, I'll tell you what, he's out of this race. Ethan Eckert involved. And Keith Joe, bad luck for him as well. And Danny Barnes, and just like that, we were going to talk about Joey Galati, and it looked like he almost net-coded as he came down just a little too much here. We're going to rewind this back just a little bit and take a peek here with what happened with Joey Galati, but caution out here for the second time tonight, and a big one here at Talladega.
Man, and just as Tyler was alluding to about the wick being turned up, but we ran out of wick, and I think, I want you to go back and take a look at it, but I think, boom, we got ourselves a Galati bomb.
Yeah, that was a huge netcode. I mean, watching a replay now, oh man, it was just wild. I mean, man, oh man, it was huge as well. And here's the other key factor too. We were talking about the lucky dog. Galati and Herbert, both cars are destroyed. So those two guys fighting for that lucky dog position, gone.
Yeah, man, Galati just comes down the track a little bit too much here. He's going to practically force the net code. He was off center right here of Brock Westmoreland, and he's going to come right back down the track. Net code the 7 here of Danny Barnes. The 7 is going to go up into the 4, so damage for the 7, damage for the 4 as well. Heath Job trying to squeak through, and he can't because here comes Danny Barnes. Looks like Chase Mastretta is going to squeak through. Ethan Eckert also involved in this one, but heavy damage there for not only the 661, but Jonathan Herbert as well, who is also trying to race for his lap back. So I'll have to try to go on board with Brock Westmoreland. And there you see Ethan Eckert's going to back right up into the wall, as is Heath Job. So those guys are going to be on pit road. Jonathan Herbert lost the complete front end of his Xfinity car here, so looks like his shot at the championship all but gone here. And Tucker McClendon doing a very good job of avoiding Danny Barnes, but we'll rewind it for everybody one more time and try to get a viewpoint here of what Brock Westmoreland saw, because Brock went for one heck of a ride.
That was a wild ride for Brock. And the wild part about it, the only car that was able to not get involved in that initial contact, I honestly thought he was going to get caught up in it. Trevor Ostronoff, he's got a rabbit's foot or something, because I thought for sure some kind of netcode was going to wipe him out as well, because you're three of the top 4 in that group was involved in that wreck.
You're also showing the onboard here of Jonathan Herbert, and unfortunate luck here for him. It all happens in front. He's going to dive down to try to avoid it, but he's going to get right into the 7 of Danny Barnes, and that'll end his season here in the Dega Pro Little Guy Series. The Jonathan Herbert will be out of this one. Looks like there will be no chance for him to come back. Pieces and parts all over this track as the safety team reaches the cars here tonight, and we're going to take you back live here and catch up with the race leader, which right now is showing as Trevin Ashronoff of the Jack Shack here, with Chase Mistretta right behind him here in second place. Adam Young being scored in third. Landon Velicki, Cody's pick, I believe, to win here tonight. And right now, rounding out your top 5, Richard Elliott was able to get through that pretty much unscathed.
And it looks like in the iRacing chat that Devin Ray was saying big netcode. But here's my take on the whole thing. Netcode is a thing, but when it's a car getting loose to where you're dropping dang near a full lane down to the bottom, I'm sorry, this is just my opinion. At that point, I'm not even going to point it to netcode. You know, a car gets loose, and that's iRacing predicting that a wreck is going to happen. His car was going well inside, you know, well down the track, and in my opinion was probably going to make contact with Danny Barnes either way. It's just an unfortunate break there, but I'm not pointing my finger at netcode on that one.
Wholeheartedly agree with you. Sometimes, you know, netcode is caused by a driver, you know, with an uncontrolled car. So unfortunately, Galati there just coming down there to force the netcode, kind of to allude to what Cody is talking about. And, you know, that's going to cause a very, very big wreck here tonight. And, you know, under 30 laps to go, we're going to take a look at our field and try to go through the field right now. I don't know if Trevor Ashronoff, it looks like, might be in the lead. Maybe he took the high side. Chase Mistretta in second. Being scored in third right now, it's going to be Landon Velicki and Adam Young in fourth. Richard Elliott is going to be scored in fifth place position, and looks like to his outside, I believe, is going to be Jared Haynes. Evan Carlbon behind them with Mark Vondel. We got a great word with Mark earlier here tonight, and always good to talk to him. Chris Walker trying to make a little bit of a comeback, and you know, that's one guy that wanted to see the caution flag flown, and sure enough, it did for him. You see Tucker McClendon here tonight was able to avoid catastrophe there on that wreck. And David Flanagan, I'll tell you what, he's been quiet here tonight. He's, I believe, the regular season points champion of this series, and you know, he's kind of just minded his own business back here, but maybe he's waiting for business to pick up here in the last stages of this race. Heath Job had to go and fix some damage right now. He's being scored in 12th. Ethan Eckert as well in 13th. Danny Barnes, here he is. He is being scored in 14th. And that right now is going to be your top drivers. Galati's going to stay down a lap. And the pace truck is off here, diving on to pit lane. It's going to be the 89 and the 3. Leading him down here to the Geico restart zone. This will be the third restart of the race. 71 laps complete of 100. Green flag back out here at Talladega.
And what a really good jump by Trevor Osbornoff and Landon Velicki on the top lane. It's going to stall out a little bit. I'm thinking that Trevor's going to go down to the bottom. Chase Mistretta is going to pick him up. The middle lane now is going to be a little bit out of sorts. Chase is going to have a chance to move up if he so chooses. Trevor Osbornoff does not seem like he wants to be anywhere except the lead. And oh, Chase tried to take that inside of Trevor. But Trevor is going to be, he's going to try to control both lanes, and he doesn't want to be anywhere except the lead right now. I'm going to be real with you. I think Trevor's getting tired of being called a little dog. He wants that title of big dog. He's earned it with 2 PGR wins. He absolutely deserves to put the stamp on it, the icing on the cake, whatever you want to say. He is very, very deserving. And right now it looks like he is, in my opinion, the favorite to win, as he firmly has the lead right now as we enter into lap 73 of 100.
Yeah, and Trevor's going to put all the stops to it as well. I mean, you could just see all the moves he's making. Like Landon Velicki goes down to the bottom, Trevor follows suit. He's going to be the one that knows he wants to stay up front. He just witnessed a huge wreck behind him that he could have easily been involved in. So Trevor knows it's go time, that he needs to do everything he can. As boy, huge blocks already, and I can already hear over the voice control Chase is starting to get heated under the mic.
Yeah, it looked like Landon Belke almost turned Trevin Astronaut there up into the catch fence, and that could have ended the day real quick there for the 89. Luckily for him, they were able to keep control. As a new player here, it's going to be Jared Haynes here to the front spot, getting a great shove here by the 23 of Chris Walker. So now Jared Haynes, he was a winner. Yes, he was in week number 2. Remember actually doing the interview after that race, and he was super pumped up, and we'll see momentum wane just a little bit in the next couple weeks. But here comes Jared Haynes when it counts the most. Gets down clear of the 89 as the 23 now going to lead that middle lane, getting pushed by the 12 of Ethan Eckert.
And Chase is starting to lose a little bit of contact with Landon Belke, but now it looks like he's starting to get pulled back up to him. But man, going back those blocks, I am a fan. I am one of them that likes to go up there and put on a show. You guys just heard Trevor in chat, in the iRacing chat. He says, you know, heck with it. I'm putting on a show. It is time to win a championship. It is do or die. He wants the track position, and he's going to do whatever it takes to win this race. And he proved it. I don't care if it's frowned upon on throwing blocks. You're on lap 75 right now. You want to win a championship? That's how you do it. You be aggressive, and if you're clear, you take it. So good on you, Trevor.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to get wild even more because Trev's going to side draft a lot too, and no one's going to. And that's the thing. Trev knows when to make the decisions on when to block and when not to block as well. And Trev wants to win this so badly, and I do not blame him one bit. It has been way too long for him, and Trevor wants this really badly as well.
Yeah, but so does Ethan Eckert. I'll tell you what, here he comes. He messaged me earlier today and said, I am going to win this championship tonight. And here he comes, getting a strong push from the 3 of Mistretta. We are 3 wide.
Boy.
A big split. Huge goal. Belke gets loose. Door banging with Trevor Astronaut. 3 wide, 4 wide if you want to count Mistretta on the apron as they get back. Oh, my God. What a save there. And we are back to 2 wide racing, but it is still aggressive. 25 laps to go. Ethan Eckert now to the point in front of Trevor Astronaut.
Man, I don't know. These guys to me look like they are drunk out there. They're either A, drunk, or B, they want a championship really badly. The intensity is getting ramped up. Ethan Eckert is blocking. Trevor Oswernoff is blocking. Landon Belke is holding on for his freaking life because he's getting doored by Trevor Oswernoff. I am getting absolutely pumped right now. Nobody is holding this lead more than about a lap. This is incredible racing.
Yeah, this is getting super intense. We don't know who's going to be. Oh, boy, it's a huge block there. It's now Jack Shack's 1 and 2 blocking both lanes. As Flanagan's going to need a little bit of help, though, from, actually, Chris Walker's going to need some help from David Flanagan. But, man, these guys are just, it's full aggression now. No one's got to worry. No one doesn't have to worry about any kind of pit strategy. All the pits are done, out of the window. Everyone's going to be full aggression, 110% the rest of the way.
Ethan Eckert in the 12, Door in the 89 of Trevin Astronaut there down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Now he's dooring him again, giving him no room to race. And I'll tell you what, Trevin Astronaut of the Jack Shack not going to be too happy about that. We still have 24 laps to go, 23 when we hit the line. I'll tell you what, these guys better settle down just a little bit or they're not going to be able to make it to the end of this one. Right now it looks to me like we have about 13 cars now as Danny Barnes off the pace. 13 cars that have a solid shot at this one. 23 laps to go. You see Trev getting pushed by his teammate Walker right there, and it could be the difference in this one is having a teammate here at the end, because right now it's a free-for-all as these guys are practically, I don't want to say it because I was going to say it, but, no F's given is the mentality right now as all these drivers looking to get to the front.
Hell with it, Mike. You got 42 people watching in live chat right now. You have the drivers they're mouthing off to each other in the race. They're taking jabs at each other. They're getting aggravated. But in my opinion, if you don't like this kind of racing, then what are you doing as a racer? And honestly, what kind of fan are you if you're watching this and you're not enjoying it? This is the kind of racing that produces fun, entertaining content. If you like what you're seeing, go subscribe to the PGR eSports Network right now. Like, what are you waiting for? These guys are throwing haymaker blocks. I'm enjoying every single second of it. My pick to win the championship is on point right now. He has been, again, there was a point, 5 or 6 straight races the guy cashed. He is another one that he's new, but he is very deserving of winning this championship. I'm getting very fired up with every lap that ticks down because, again, these guys, they're showing this now. What do you think they're going to be doing on lap 90? This is just insane, the quality of racing we're getting.
I 100% agree because, honestly, both your driver and my driver's pick are both at it right now, and they are going at it. And I know they've been jawing a lot, too. So you know for sure both of those drivers want to win. I mean, if you guys are watching the broadcast and enjoying this, you guys better be slamming that thumbs up button because, man, this is going to be wild all the way to the finish, especially when we still have 20 laps of this, and it's not going to end.
It sure is, and as David Flanagan now, I spoke about him briefly not too long ago. He's in the picture now. He's going to be 4th in line here on the top, pushing Heath Job in that black and white machine. Dave Flanagan now the point leader, or the championship of the regular season leader right there. He's coming up here. He wants to mix it up front. He's got Richard Elliott behind him, and yes, man, we'll see if we could get all of these cars to the finish line because as of right now, the looks of things, that is not how this is going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a restart somewhat here in the the later stages of this race, or a green-white checkered with only 6 or 7 cars that have a shot. That's how hard they're all racing here right now.
They are racing hard, but they're racing clean, and we've had 3 cautions in this race, and for the intensity that we have had, man, I know I haven't really called all of these races this season, and it's been a hot minute for me, but I believe this, quality-wise, is probably one of the best of the whole season. Sitting and watching on the sidelines, this is a direct, like we talked about how strong this new crop of drivers is, how good they are in and out of pit road. You're seeing it right here. We have never had a new crop of money racing drivers that have looked this good, in my opinion. And several of them, I don't care if they don't win the championship, they're proving to me right now that they deserve to be called a big dog. In my opinion, several drivers in here are really not that big of a quote-unquote drop-off from what you would see to these guys and to the established big dogs. That gap used to be very large. I really don't think it's that large right now. These guys are showing that they belong.
Yeah, all of them are proving it time and time again in this race. This series has just expanded so much as well. Like you said, Cody, these guys, these guys are just like at the top. Like they could probably maybe fight against some of these other big guys and possibly even win them day in and day out as well. The way these guys are running. You got Ethan Eckert, Landon Velicki, Trevor Ozernoff, and Chase Mastretta, 4 of the biggest guys that have the biggest momentum coming into this race tonight.
And David Flanagan's going to make a move here to the outside. He's got some help here in the 3rd lane. It looks like BAR's Richard Elliott is going to follow him up through here. 18 laps to go. 3 by 3 now as business is picking up once again. Ethan Eckert's going to be leading here on the bottom. Landon Velicki, Cody's pick here in the middle. Getting a great shove by the 89 of Trevin Astronaut. Chris Walker, he's been up front nearly all night long. He was able to come back from a miscue here a little while back. Heath Job as well got enough of his damaged fix. He's still in the fray, as is Tucker McClendon and Mark Vondel just a little bit farther back. They're still in this thing, fighting tooth and nail with all these drivers up front. Man, we got a great group of drivers that could win this championship here tonight. Evan Carlbon as well. He's just going to need a little bit of luck, maybe a caution to save his night. He is the last car on the lead lap.
And right now we do briefly have Adam Young looks like he might be going back down to the middle, but briefly there we had 3 rows of 3 wide. And it's proving right now that if you don't have 3 cars in that 3rd lane, that 3rd lane's just not going to go. And these guys in the lower 2 lanes are going to continue swapping the lead. And right now it looks like it's just going to be a race of who is in the right place at the right time. Because Ethan Eckerman putting on a blocking clinic right now. If he can continue to do that, he's either going to A, win the race, or B, he's going to find himself in the catch fence. But he is the kind of driver that has proven he doesn't really care. he's going to go for the win, or, you know, as Ricky Bobby in the old Talladega Nights movie always said, if you ain't first, you're last. Ethan Eckert right now, he might be the epitome of that, because, again, he's either going to win the race or he's going to be in the catch-fence triangle.
Yeah, Ethan's and you can already tell, Ethan's full on aggression right now. He doesn't care who he bangs into, whether it's a teammate or not. Ethan wants this win, and he will do anything he can to try to guarantee that win, and same with Trevor Azanoff. You can see how much of the side draft is happening. Look at how hard both Chris Walker and Landon Veliky are pushing these two drivers right now up front. It is non-stop.
It sure is non-stop. PGR's Ethan Eckert. It's his last hope for PGR, Team PGR, to win yet again in this series. He's not going to have any help, as Brock Westmoreland has fallen to some damage here tonight, being scored in the 16th position and many laps down. So if Eckert gets it done, he's going to have to get it done all by himself, and if he does, he's going to have to be throwing those haymaker blocks, because he does not have too many friends out here on the racetrack, and you got a lot of hungry guys trying to win this race. I'll tell you what, this might end 4 or 5 wide across the line, and or with a bunch of junked up race cars, because you're right, Cody. If you ain't first, you are last here tonight. I think when we reach that white flag lap here in about 14 laps, that's when, you know, it's all bets are off. You're not going to have any friends, no teammates, because there's only going to be one champion here tonight and one $500 winner, and we are just a short 14 laps away from that happening and being crowned a 6th champion here tonight in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series.
And Ethan Eckert is going to be playing with fire if he continues trying to, you know, block the 2 lanes, because this is what I'm looking at. You've got Oswernoth behind you. You've got Chris Walker behind you, 2 JSR teammates. How many times are you going to lane change up to that middle lane? How many times are you going to do it and they're just going to be content taking it and not splitting you 3 wide? Now, if the Jack Shack guys want to go to the 3rd lane, Ethan Eckert, see ya. You're going to get parachuted. What's going to happen? Is Landon Veliky going to hold bottom, or is he going to go up? If Chase Mastretta takes the middle and leads that middle, you're now going to line up the OSM entries of Landon Veliky and Jared Haynes. Just a few things to keep an eye on. You do have teammates that are going to be connected, are connected, or very close to being connected at this finish. And I think, again, OSM, Jack Shack, because of that, they're in the best spot right now, on point to potentially win this race. That extra 1 driver could make or break you on winning $500.
Yeah, I don't want to cut you off, Tyler, but real quick, Aubrey Thompson back on the track, and man, I'll tell you what, he must have fixed all his damage. He's back up here, and man, that could be a wild card right here, because he's out there and maybe going to help his BAR teammates get the job done here tonight.
I was about to say, yeah, seeing Aubrey come out and that car is fully cleaned and repaired, especially with these composite bodies, I would not be surprised if we see Aubrey shoving one of his BAR teammates to this win as well. He's going to do anything he can to help one of his teammates win this race.
Yeah, and I'm just going and looking through this pack, and it looks like that direct beneficiary of Aubrey Thompson being back in this lead pack, it's got to be Richard Elliott. Again, one of the more seasoned drivers in this field, and you got to start looking at tandems. You got the OSM tandem, you got the Jack Shack tandem, and you have the BAR tandem. Having a best friend out there could potentially win you the race, but where does this put, you know, a guy like Chase Mastretta? He don't have any friends out there. He's just the lone entry. You know, he is the quote-unquote independent in this race. You know, you've got David Flanagan, another OSM driver. That's 3 OSM entries that's in that lead group, which again, well, you'd have to think that makes them a potential favorite for one of their drivers to be in victory lane, but still a lot of developing stories as we come to 10 to go.
And with 10 to go, we got Evan Carlbon about to get forced a lap down, so we will only have all 12 of these drivers that are in this pack right now on the lead lap. So it's anybody's game. Oh my goodness, Ethan Eckert was able to hang on to it and just shoves Landon Veliky out of the way, as Veliky's not happy as he is dooring him, and we are going to have a ton of voice commentary on the stream now.
Yeah, we sure are, especially if the 12's able to park that Ford into victory lane. And, you know, it's going to be an unpopular victory if he can do it, but I'm sure he does not give any crap about it, because all he wants to do is win. and that's what he's going to try at all costs here tonight with no friends as well in this one. But the third lane is picking up right now. There goes Veliky, and here goes Trevin Astronaut. They are going to split out here, third lane, and go right around the 12 possibly. Walker's into the back of Eckert. He's now loose. Here comes Trev into the 12. A huge wreck. Trev's on his side. Oh, and a huge wreck. A lot of damage to Eckert. Astronaut, as well as I believe Adam Young as well. All wadded up as you see them farther on back. Veliky as well. And I'll tell you what, guys, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to go on a limb and say here right now, these guys were just fighting out of, pure, annoyance out of the racing that was going on. And you see Young right there, his night and his championship hopes are over. And man, I'll tell you what, they got the emotions got to the better of them, I think is what I was trying to say. And right now you got some of these front runners out of this race and out of this championship.
Yeah, that's just, man, it's a little bit of a bad look for a few of them drivers. But, if that race would have stayed green, all I'm going to say is Ethan is very, very, I'm not going to say fortunate, but if that race stayed green, he better have prayed that Landon Veliky didn't get back to him, because that was a little bit of a dirty move. And like, what has it got them right now? Because most of them guys, Ethan Eckert, Landon Veliky, Trevor Osbornoff, their nights are done. I mean, it's a bad deal for them, but like, look at Jared Haynes now. Look at Chase Mastretta. They're the direct beneficiaries of that wreck happening, boy, because a lot of the front runners and the favorites to win that race, they're toast.
Yeah, a lot of torn up cars, and I mean, just listening into the voice chatter, Veliky is hot on the mic on Ethan Eckert. A lot of race chatter going on. I mean, you could see Veliky is still driving that car. I mean, both their left front tire's gone, and then I mean, even the right front is completely broken. I mean, my goodness, that car is destroyed.
It sure is. We're showing the replay multiple times here to our viewers. That was Trevin Astronaut on the side, and that's how he's going to end up on the left side of his car and getting a tow, and his night will be over as well. And unfortunate for him, because he was really looking forward to being crowned the champion here, and unfortunately that will not be the case. We're going to go back to this wreck one more time, Tyler. We're going to get that up on your screen and try to see, exactly who caused that wreck. You'll see the 23 here of Walker getting a little bit loose as well right here, but I think it was just out of pure frustration with the way, Ethan Eckert was racing everybody. We'll hop into a far chase here right now and see if we can get a really good vantage point in the slow motion of what happened. Here goes Chris Walker getting to the back bumper and getting the 12 loose just a little bit. Veliky also, if you see there on the right of your screen, he's offset pushing the 89. And here's where they all start to come together. The 89, 62, they're going to shoot way up the racetrack, and the 62 is practically going to, that's where it comes from. So Ethan Eckert really didn't cause this wreck. It's really going to be on the 62, I believe, of Landon Veliky. You see him there pushing the 89 offset. And as he swipes back down the back bumper there of the 89, that's going to turn the 89 down the racetrack and into the 12 of Ethan Eckert. So, it just all happens so fast, it's hard to say. There goes Ethan Eckert into Adam Young. Unfortunate, I think, the most here for Adam Young, because he was on the bottom of the racetrack, probably thought he was going to be safe, and unfortunately his night will probably come to an end. It looks like maybe he doesn't have too much damage, and with how many cars are left in this field, it's definitely possible to make a comeback with a little bit of damage.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump in here too real quick. I think a lot of us too, that with everything that happened with Veliky and kind of offsetting Trevor Astronaut, I think a lot of this just stemmed from the incident back on lap 90. Veliky ended up getting pushed and shoved a little hard, that Veliky wasn't happy with Ethan Eckert, and we saw him door Ethan Eckert as well. And I think it got to a point where Landon Veliky was already just super upset with Ethan Eckert that he was going to do anything he could, and was shoving Trevor so hard, and it got to the point that it turned Trevor Osbornoff and just caused a huge pileup that wiped out him, Ethan, Trevor. I mean, it was bound to happen.
Yeah, and bound to happen it was. And, it's a tough break, especially for Trevor Osbornoff. And, Landon Velicki's showing a lot of passion because when that wreck happened, I mean, you guys heard it. He sounded off. But, a lot of times before you even take a look at the replay, you think that it wasn't you. But there was a lot of things at play in that wreck. And you can look at it and say he was a little bit off center, which he was. But it looked like maybe he was trying to back off just a hair off of Trevor Osbornoff. And, I it's not like he just pushed straight through him. I think he's seen what was about to happen. And, Osbornoff just wasn't able to collect his car back up. But definitely a rough break for several of the guys that I would have considered favorites in this race.
Well, it was the third caution of the night. We've only had 3 of them. We'll hopefully be able to go green from here. 7 laps to go. There's going to be 6 to go when we hit the line and go back green. Jared Haynes are out carrying that onboard camera. He is your leader. He did win week number 2 here. Chase Mistretta won week number 5. He was your most recent winner. So 2 of your winners here in this series are up front, 1 and 2. Logan York not in tonight's race. Trevin Astronaut just involved in that accident. And Dylan Basin not on the track and not in this race as well. So the pace truck is going to dive underneath the yellow line yet again here tonight. We will get another restart. This could be the last. Who knows? We'll have to see. Stick around because we will interview the top 3 drivers here tonight in this race. And the last one will be the champion of the Dega Pro Little Guy Series as the green flag is back in the air yet again here at Talladega.
Man, what a start on the bottom by Jared Haynes. He's going to be moving up to the middle lane, and he is going back down. He thinks better of it. Looks like the bottom lane, it's got Chris Walker, it's got David Flanagan. It looked to be the lane that was more formed up, but as I say that now, Heath Job is getting to Chase Mistretta. You've got Richard Elliott as a third. They've got a lot of momentum. Jared Haynes has the option to block. He's not going to block. He's content with staying bottom right now. How long is it going to be before the drivers decide we're going to go 3 wide and we're going to start contesting the leaders?
Yeah, and contesting the leaders is, we got to also watch the BAR guys. Aubrey Thompson's trying to help out as much as he could with his BAR teammates, and at this point now it's go time. You don't have much laps left. You got to push now and be aggressive. It's oh my goodness, huge! Oh my goodness! Here we go, big wreck coming. Oh, that's the entire field.
Well, I'll tell you guys one thing. I was talking to Matthew Baker not too long ago, and he said the whole field was going to wad up, and it was possible Mark Vondel would be your race winner here tonight. It looks like Mark was able to slow up just enough to avoid a lot of that. And I'll tell you what, he might have called it here tonight. Mark Vondel just sitting pretty in the back of the pack most of the night. He's going to have a chance to go win this thing, as is David Flanagan, Evan Carlbon as well, Tucker McClendon, Heath Job. That's going to end his campaign here tonight. He has no front bumper, and man, it truly is. We'll see Chase Mistretta. He's all torn up, as is Richard Elliott. Literally, this is going to come down to maybe 4 cars.
This is wild. This is really wild. A race starts with 19 drivers, 20 drivers, whatever the exact number was. But, wow. They're still going off in the chat. The drivers are. Yeah, we might only have 4 drivers to start. But you said Mark Vondel, he takes a little bit of damage there, and I went and looked and seen what he had. I think he's under 2 minutes. He's probably only looking at about 45 seconds of damage. Man, would you just imagine if Mark Vondel gets this win and $500, what that would do for his confidence? And since I have started money racing, Mark Vondel, he is the nicest, easily one of the nicest guys on the track. Respectful. He's never causing any issues, and it looks like he potentially could be the guy in the right place at the right time in this race. I am very, very fired up at the potential to see Mark Vondel win this championship and get in victory lane and win the $500.
Yeah, Mark Vondel's got a little bit of damage, but he's going to have a lot more time than everyone else. We only have 3 cars: David Flanagan, Evan Carbon, Tucker McClendon. I'm kind of laughing at myself now because I missed out on this by maybe 2 points. And I'm kind of thinking, with how my driving style is, maybe I should have ran one more race because, oh my goodness. I mean, this is out of all of the season finale championship races we've had the previous 5 seasons, this has been the most chaotic race I have ever witnessed.
Well, I'm on board here on Tucker McClendon's cockpit, and what a move he made there at the bitter end to avoid catastrophe, and that's going to lock him right now into the top 3. So Tucker McClendon has a great shot as well at this one, so that will be nice to see if he could possibly get to victory lane. We're going to ride on board here real time with, I believe it is Chris Walker, because Chris Walker was upside down again. We've had some crazy wrecks here tonight, but this is going to be Chris Walker's on board here. He's pushing Jared Haynes here into the tri-oval, and watch the ride he goes on. Hard into that outside fence and turned upside down for just a second. It's going to land on his 4 Goodyear tires, and man, his run is probably going to end as well. You see Mark Vondel here at the end, slams just into him a little bit, and we're going to get back up here live with your leaders of this race. Scoring pylon showing 4 laps to go here at Talladega. The lights are still on this pace truck, and David Flanagan, man, maybe his strat was the best one, to hang around all night long in the back and make your move when it counts, because you know he was the best racer in this series in the regular season. And here he is leading at the end.
And I'm at a loss for words right now. There's 4 drivers. 2 of them are OSM entries. So if you're David Flanagan or Evan Carlbon, are you going to be content pushing your teammate to the win? The easy answer is yes. Of course you want to push your teammate to the win. $500 on the line. I don't care if they've agreed to some sort of a chop or not, which obviously we have no idea of knowing that. Them guys want the bragging rights of being the Season 6 Little Guys champion. It's just going to be interesting because say Mark Vondel pushes Evan Carlbon clear. He's in the catbird seat. Is somebody going to be able to push Mark Vondel? Because he might have a lap car behind him that has nothing to lose. So you might have 2 OSM entries leading the bottom, but hey, if you're a lap car, why not push Mark Vondel? Where does Tucker McClendon fit in all of this? He's not going to sit back there. So are Tucker McClendon and Mark Vondel going to work together? Like, I could see this going one of a couple different ways, but it is going to be interesting because I do believe a couple of these lap cars might come into play for who wins this race.
I'll add in too, Chase Mastretta was able to make it out in time ahead. He is still the one and only car, the other car on the lead lap. Yes, he has damage and a ton of it, but here's the crazy part. What would happen if all 4 wrecked in front? Chase would have a clean getaway to be able to have a chance of winning this race. I don't think that's going to happen, but the way this race has been going, I have no idea what to expect now.
Excuse me, I'm almost sneezing up here. Well, yeah, I agree with you. You never know how it's going to shape out, and the pace truck is going to dive off yet again. There is going to be 2 laps to go when we hit the line. If we take the white flag, it'll be official. The 23 David Flanagan, the 71 Evan Carlbon, the 00 Tucker McClendon, the 59 of Mark Vondel, and somehow the 3 of Chase Mastretta. Those are the cars on the lead lap. There's only 5 of them. Green flag is in the air. Could it be for the final time in season number 6 of the Dega Pro Little Guys Series? It's for the championship. Who wants it more? Flanagan out front here. He's going to lead Evan Carlbon into turn number 1.
And it looks like that there is a little bit of a friendship going on, and they're going to be working together, I believe. Tucker McClendon and Mark Vondel. And where does Joey Galati fit in this? He's 8 laps down, but he's going to be the difference maker when it is 2-on-2. You've got 4 guys essentially fighting for this championship. If Galati goes with, say, Mark Vondel and Tucker McClendon, this could be setting it up where Tucker McClendon becomes your little guy's champion. We're about to see it all play out, but is OSM sitting ducks up there on the bottom?
I think they might be, but I mean, I think these guys, the OSM guys, are going to just hang on as much as they can. So here we go. White flag coming this time, and all bets are off now.
White flag is out. This will end the race. Who wants it more? Tucker McClendon's going to peek out. Here he goes. No block. He's going to file back in line. Not sure why. Mark Vondel wants to go. Here goes Tucker again. We are on the backstretch. Galati's going to go with them, so they have help. They have numbers. It's a 3-car train on top. Can they get past OSM? It looks like they will. Oh, he turns the 23. McClendon turns the 23. He is out. McClendon leads. Mark Vondel spins. Tucker's going to get into Carlbahn.
Here we go. Out of turn 4. Will it be Tucker McClendon or will it be Evan Carlbahn? Here we go. Coming to the line. I don't think Evan's got anything for him. Are we going to see it? Here comes a run from Evan Carlbahn. No, sir. Tucker McClendon is your Season 6 Little Guys champion.
Tucker McClendon, we have him in the booth. How does it feel, buddy? Champion of the Dega Pro Little Guys Series.
Holy shit. I mean, I'm sorry I spun him, but I wasn't lifting right there. Holy shit. I mean, I have never won a money race before, and so this is fucking awesome. Sorry for the language.
It's all good. We never bring somebody up here like this, but man, what a time to do it. Burn them down. Have a good time. Tucker McClendon, you are the champion.
Hey, Tucker, real quick, did you pull him out of here? You may have. Tucker McClendon's still in here. I just want to say one thing. Very good race, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to feel bad about turning David there. If you're blocking on the last lap, you're basically free reigns. You know, you don't want to turn the guy by any means, but if you're blocking on the last lap, you better be damn sure that you can hold it. You didn't do anything wrong there. David has to block, but you have to do what you have to do. You're not lifting on the last lap. That is a very fantastic race from you. Congratulations on your first money racing win. And what a way to cap off your first money racing win with a championship and $500.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is good. I'm going to Vegas next week, and this is all going on fucking red, boys.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Man, what an interview. We never do this, but this might be the time we did it. Right on his last lap here, after he crossed the start-finish line, you see the 00 and that Tennessee Volunteer orange and white burning them down. It's Tucker McClendon. Tucker, we got you up here in the booth. Why waste any more time? Man, have some fun out there, but tell us about that last lap, man, and tell us about this whole race. You are the champion here in the Dega Pro Little Guys Series Season number 6.
I mean, I don't know. I have to. All that goes to Mark Vondel. I mean, we started working together, at the beginning of this race. The last race of the series, we got through a wreck and finished second and third. And I mean, he helped me win that right there. That's all him. I don't know if he got second or third or what he got, but that was awesome. I mean, Chase and Ethan, we worked together, and then I had Logan in my ear. I don't care what people say about Logan. Once you get to know him, he's a good guy. But I've never won a money race before, and so way to do it, win $500. I mean, what a hell of a night.
It was one heck of a night, man. You were able to get the job done, man. And how crazy was it? You had, 5 cars on the lead lap there to start on that restart? I mean, you guys started with 19 drivers here tonight, and I mean, have you ever been a part of a money race where you saw 5 drivers, practically only 4 of them, with how much damage Mistretta had, and 4 guys vying for a title on the last lap? I mean, you guys, you were almost in a good spot there, having Vondel, and not only Vondel but Galati that helped you guys as well.
Yeah, Galati helped. I forgot about him. I mean, no, I haven't. I'm not a super aggressive driver, so I just typically ride in the back, and with the fuel mileage at the front of this race, it really helped. And then me and Mark, I guess that last restart, we said, hey, we're holding back, and we knew they were probably going to get all squirrely up there, and we did that. And hell, I thought there was 3 or 4 left of us, and was just gonna play it and try to get the run on the last lap. And I knew Mark was behind me and Galati, and he threw that last block. And like you said, I do feel bad, but I'm not gonna lift anyway on the last lap, and hate that I spun him. And
Well, I'll tell you what, you should get that flight to Vegas and move it up because with the luck you had tonight, especially there on that last lap, it's time to roll the dice, my friend, as you are crowned the champion. You're graduated out of the series. Is that going to be bittersweet for you? I know you enjoy racing here in this John Ward Dega Pro Little Guy series, but that'll be no more for you as you're going to move on to bigger and better things.
No, I feel like Harrison Burton sneaking into the playoffs. Like, I'm not a big dog. I just do this shit for fun and donate every week and have fun and enjoy all you guys. So I'll do it. Be a big dog. Probably be the littlest of the big dogs, but hell, just go out and have a good time. I enjoy watching y'all's broadcast. What PGR is doing is incredible for this platform, and I just enjoy this shit, man.
Well, you know what, man? It all goes around, it comes around, and I believe in karma. And it's nice to see you cash in for, one of winning for the first time, and not only winning but also winning a championship. And man, it's awesome for us, myself, Cody, and Tyler, to be on the call and just to hear the excitement, seeing a new winner for once, and no better guy here tonight to do it, Tucker. And before we let you go here tonight and celebrate, man, anyone you want to thank and or shout out?
No, I mean, I can't give enough credit to Mark Vondel right there and Joey Galati. Like I said, I hate that Ethan and Chase got caught up in it. But, of course, I've learned a lot from Logan York. We're on the same team together. Adam Young was in this race. He's a sneaky good driver who I enjoy running with, and all them guys. But no, thank y'all for doing this. Y'all's productions are top notch, and then thanks John for doing this. I got to find something new to do on Monday nights now.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, we've got to all thank John because he provides this platform for the little guys to win big like you did tonight, and got to thank the boss man John Ward for PGR eSports being able to call these races. And Tucker, man, you got the job done, man. We're proud of you up here, and we not only look forward to racing with you, here in the future and some of the other promotions, but have fun on that trip, man. Go win some more money, and you got some more money to bring there to Vegas, and that's always a good thing, bud. But go celebrate. Go talk to Marky down there. He's still down there waiting, and great job, bud.
Awesome. Thank y'all, guys.
Well, that was your race winner, Tucker McClendon. He gets the job done tonight. And we're going to bring up Mark Vondel and let Cody take over with Mark there. He is your third place finisher here tonight. Mark Vondel, you got a copy.
How you doing, guys? Well, I didn't get it done, but...
Well, you might not have got it done, but, that's neither here nor there because you do come away with a P3 and $100, man. Just take us through the race because, man, there was only 4 of you on that on the last restart that really had a shot to win it. There for a little bit, it looked like it might have been you. What could you have done differently potentially to have gotten victory lane with all of the mayhem that was going on there at the end?
Well, I had given when it came down to the last couple laps after that last caution, I was running with Tucker, and I was gonna dedicate myself to Tucker and get him the win if that's what I could do. I got a little bit loose. What happened was at the end there, when that wreck happened on the high side, I got behind Tucker, and Tucker went to go down to get in front of Evan. And when he did that, I started to go down with him. And as soon as I touched my wheel a little bit, I just took out from under me.
Well, I do think that that's a byproduct of the hot track, as we were all seeing. The hotter the tires got, the looser the car got. And on the last lap, it was that's exactly what we were seeing. But going back to that last restart, I had kind of called it out. I seen you guys were in Discord. It looked like you guys had a little bit of a team with you and Tucker and Joey. Yeah. And I couldn't help but think that the OSM guys were probably a sitting duck, which, that's how it came to fruition, as I believe it was David Flanagan had to throw a block. And again, that's the move he had to do to potentially win the race. But, no harm, no foul on Tucker. What does this do for you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say that last restart right before that, the accident, I had to come on my brakes, and I burnt my tires up big time because when I was coming to a guy and I was going to hit him. So I was able to get it in reverse, and I just spun my tires to not to hit him. And I ended up at 36 seconds damage. So when I came back out, but yeah, the last restart, Tucker and I were just, Galati wasn't with us. He was just happened to be there. But we were just going to try to take the outside. We thought we were in a perfect position with just 4 of us running basically for it. Yeah, I didn't want to be in front, and we waited and tried to take the lead, going into 3 on the straightaway, going into 3, and then everything was just a blur after that, kind of.
Well, that it definitely was, and it really was anyone's race there at the end. But again, you cashed last night in the Little Dog Big Dog. You cashed again here with a podium, 3rd place tonight in the Little Guys Season 6 Championship. Before I let you go, man, just a lot of momentum and a lot of positives coming out of your camp after this race. So I'm going to give you the floor for any final thoughts, thanks. Shout out anything you want to give or anything that you'd like to say.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you guys, PGR eSports. PGR eSports. I was thinking who was that the last time that talked that said PRG? Malik.
Yeah.
I had to think about it after I said it, but no, I want to thank you guys though. You guys are awesome. I mean, doing everything. You guys do everything, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the guys in here. Every one of them. There's really nobody that I get sore at. I might throw a little fit every now and then if I think that I got wrong done there. But other than that, I'm just happy to be here. These races are great. I just don't know what to say about them. I'm not as good as a lot of the guys here. Mine is more of a strategy thing than get up and run front and run. So, but I appreciate all you guys and my team, my real team, McCullough Motorsports. They've helped me a lot, and I still kind of just have a good time running, wherever I finish. But I was really wanted first here. I really wanted it, and I want to get that Thursday night PGR win eventually.
Well, Mark, there is no better class act than you on that track, man. You've cashed a couple nights in a row, and I am very, very happy to watch you have this level of success. And it just seems like you're getting more and more momentum. This is just congratulations on a fantastic season, man. Nobody deserves a season like this more than you. You've been a very dedicated member of the community since long before I was even in the community. So hats off to you, man. Much love to you, Mark. Get out of here, go celebrate, and take this momentum and see what success you can have moving forward.
All right, guys. Coming from you guys, that's a big compliment. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Michael, Tyler, Cody. I'm going to watch broadcast in a little while. I didn't have it on, but I want to watch it back, and I know you did an excellent job because you always do. So
Well,
you guys have a good night.
Bud. Yep, you as well, Mark. And that was Mark Vondel, your 3rd place finisher here tonight. And we already got the champ, Tucker McClendon, when he crossed the start-finish line. Apologize for any of the language, but raw, uncut footage here on PGR eSports tonight. And before we go off air tonight, we brought in the man runner-up. It's Evan Carlbon. Evan Carlbon, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, boss. Well, you're 1 spot short of being a champion, but nonetheless, you finished in that 2nd spot. Pretty good payday, and it looked like you had your teammate, is sitting pretty good there on the last lap, and unfortunately, you got a little bit, of a run there from not only Tucker McClendon, but Mark Vondel. Tell us about that last lap and what you could have done possibly different.
The last lap, I was just going to stick with my teammate there, whether he was the only one in the cash position or if it was both of us. I was just going to stick with him. He went up to block a run, and he got turned, and at the end of the day, he's not mad about it either. So he's the one that made the move. But all I gotta say is, I'm not mad at Tucker by any means. He did what he had to do, blocking and all that after the fact that he spun David. I'm just a little uneven about Joey Galati, what's the word? Like manufacturing the lines. Like he's 8 laps down and he's trying to pull it off, like an upset or something. And then he's side drafting me off the turn, not even giving me a chance to get a run at Tucker, get a drag race going. But it is what it is. That's how these things end. And I'm proud enough to stay out of trouble for most of the night. I went a lap down at one point, and uh, yeah, and I got second. I'll take the payday, and congrats to Tucker. Congrats to whoever else cashed.
Well, yeah, you burst onto the scene in the PGR eSports lead up to the SummerSlam 499, won a couple of those recruitment races, and you're definitely a force to be reckoned with here, not only in the Dega Pro Little Guy Series, but anytime you take the track in the money racing community. But obviously you fall short of the goal of that first position, whether it be you or David Flanagan here tonight for OSM, but. You had a great showing here this season, and unlike Tucker, you could come back here in season number 7 and try to get the job done. Is that something you're looking forward to doing?
Uh, I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy, so I'll have to see what's going on around the time. But if everything goes right, I'd probably do another season 7. It would have been a good story to have the last guy in on points win the championship like that. So that's why I'm a little like uneven right now. But it is what it is. Congrats to Tucker. He deserves it. He did what he did. He had to do on the last lap. Yeah, that's about it. Really, I got to say.
Well, absolutely, Evan. It was a pleasure watching you here tonight. Before we let you go, set sail here. Anyone you want to thank and/or shout out?
Thank you to Jared Haynes and Brian Bassett for giving me a chance to run with them at one stop. It's nothing short of a good time always. This is my first cash with them, so it feels pretty good to know that I have security around the team. And then shout out just everybody else that I told to watch. And I'm sorry I let you guys down, but I tried my hardest. Hopefully they all know that.
Well, we appreciate talking to you. Go out there, celebrate with your teammate David Flanagan. You guys had a nice payday here, and good luck in any other money race, and hope to see you again out there soon.
All right, Mike. Thank you, buddy.
That was your runner-up, Evan Carlbon, and we do have the final results here for the Dega Pro Little Guys Series Championship race here in season number 6. Cody Neagle's on the call with me tonight, as well as Tyler Vickery. Tyler Vickery still here in the booth with me. We'll get his final thoughts in just 1 second. Tucker McClendon is your Season 6 champion. Evan Carlbon, your runner-up. Mark Vondel, what a great run for him from McCullough Motorsports. He will be finishing in 3rd position. David Flanagan in 4th for OSM. Chase Mistretta for Nightmare in 5th. Ethan Eckert for PGR. He makes it all the way back to 6th place. Chris Walker for the Jack Shack in 7th. Heath Job for Hyper in 8th. Jared Haynes for OSM. He will finish in 9th. And Richard Elliott for BAR in 10th. Danny Barnes finishes in 11th. Joey Galati 12th. Landon Velicki in 13th. Probably not too happy about that finish here tonight. Trevor Astronaut 14th. Adam Young 15th. Brock Westmoreland 16th. Jonathan Herbert 17th. Bobby Forbes in 18th. And rounding out your field here tonight will be Aubrey Thompson in 19th. And wow, what a race it was. What a season it was. And with the win by Tucker McClendon, that was 6 different winners in all 6 of the races this season. Tucker McClendon joins a list of myself, Michael Triscaro, Josh McCullough, Justin Mills, JR Miller, and Mike Davenport as champions of the Dega Pro Little Guy Series. And before we go off air tonight, any final words from you, Tyler, on this race, on this series, and anything that you could think of here before we sign off?
Wow. Just chaos is one thing I can definitely say, especially throughout the race. I mean, it was so calm until we had that initial caution. And like I said in the broadcast, cautions breed cautions, and then the wicket's going to get turned up and aggression is going to be through the roof. I think out of all of the little guys races that has happened, I think this is the first time if I recall, that we have ever seen this many cars finishing finishing out of wrecked out of the race, only having 5 cars finishing on the lead lap, which is just insane, especially how the last 2 or 3 seasons we went almost wire to wire green flag racing. I mean, man, this one's going to be tough. This race is going to be tough to beat in years to come, because we're going to be talking about this race probably for many seasons to come, especially for someone like Tucker McClendon and Mark Vondel to have just the perfect race of staying out of trouble, staying out of all of the carnage and all of the aggressive driving that was happening, to be able to come away and Tucker McClendon finishing and winning this race. And then you have Mark Vondel hanging on to finish third. I mean, names that are still brand new, all in the top 5. And then we got Tucker and Mark Vondel. What a race.
Yeah, it really was a great race and a great end cap to the season. The first race won by Logan York, unfortunately suspended from iRacing right now, wasn't able to race tonight. Jarrett Haynes was your week 2 winner. Trevor Astronaut week number 3. Dylan Basin snuck in there for a win in week number 4. Chase Mistretta, who had a strong showing tonight before a wreck took him out late, he was your week 5 winner. And here tonight, the 6th different winner, Tucker McClendon, in the 00, gets the job done. And you heard it right after he crossed the start-finish line. Not often we ever pull a driver right in, and man, it was uncut, but it was raw, and you could hear the emotion on his voice, as he is now the season 6 champion of the Dega Pro Little Dog Series. And man, he was very fired up, very excited. It's his first money racing win. He said he was going to be on his way to Vegas here shortly, and now he's got some extra cash to bring on that trip. And who knows, maybe he'll gamble it and see if he can make 500 into 1,000 and go up from there, because it's free money for him now. And man, he's excited about that. And man, it was great to call this race with you, Tyler. Cody as well. I believe he's up talking to everybody right now. But we appreciate all the views here tonight, all the subscriptions here at PGR eSports here on a Monday night. Not sure when the series is going to start back up, but I'm sure it'll be on the PGR eSports network. Tomorrow, the network will head to, I believe, RMR for Tuesday Night Thunder, and also on Thursday night as PGR eSports returns after a 1-week hiatus at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where the temperature is going to be cranked up. It's going to be a hot and slick racing surface there, so looking forward to that one and all the races in the money racing community, as well as Sunday nights for McCullough Motorsports Team Series. So, well, on behalf of PGR eSports, myself, Michael Triscaro, Tyler Vickery, Cody Neagles, it was a great race, great series, great ending win by Tucker McClendon. And we appreciate everybody once again, including the boss man, John Ward, for letting us do this each and every Monday night. And until next time, we appreciate it. Much love to all, and we will all talk to you very soon.